by the time the 21 days were over, I don't know how much weight I had lost, but I had lost a significant amount of weight.
Hello, everyone. I'm your girl, Kamaria Dominique, and we are back with another interview. Today, I have an absolutely amazing woman here today. Her name is Cynthia, and Cynthia has a wonderful story and testimony to share with you all. I myself have not asked too many questions on purpose because I wanted to be just as excited to hear the story as you. If you have not already done so, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. We really appreciate it, and we want to share this information with as many people as possible. So Cynthia, welcome to the channel. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you. I am doing absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy to be sitting in the room with the one and only Kamaria.
Oh
How are
my
you,
goodness,
Kamaria?
stop it.
Girl, you bad to the bone. I be binge watching your
Yes,
channel. You are
thank
bad to the
you.
bone. And yes, I am honored and privileged to be sitting in the same room with you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Oh my goodness, you got me blushing.
It's
Thank
all
you
right.
so much, and thank you for the support. Thank you for reaching out. I am a true believer in divine timing, and things happen for a reason. Nothing is just because, right? And so I was super excited when you reached out to me. I You can feel when it's gonna be a good one. I knew this is gonna be a good one, so I'm excited to get into it. So let's just get started. I like to always start with the beginning of your journey. I even like sometimes to go back before your journey began. I know you did tell me, back in 2019, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you went vegan, correct?
You're correct.
Okay, so what prompted that? What was the trigger to say, okay, I'm about to go vegan? I don't know if did you go cold turkey? Was it a transition? What did that look like for you?
Well, great question. Around the mid to late 90s, I actually had a roommate who was messing around with being, at the time there was no such term, or we weren't aware of the term pescatarian or anything like that. But she was just basically fruit, vegetables, and chicken. And she did some juicing. And I remember one day she juiced a carrot and she's like, "Girl, taste this." And I'm like, "Please, I don't want." She's like, "Oh no, really, really, it's good, it's good." I'm like, "Okay, okay." I tasted the carrot juice. I'm like, "What?" It was like delicious. All right, fast forward. I decided I didn't start juicing, but because I was living with her and because of her lifestyle, I decided that I would start eating fruit, vegetables only, and poultry. I said that because at the time I was like in my late 30s and I looked okay, but I could afford to lose a little bit of weight. You know how that goes. So I did. So I actually, when I started, when I came off of all meats except for poultry and fruit and vegetables, I saw a change in my body style. And I kept that going in my body type, I should say. And I kept that going for a minute and for about 6 years. And then 6 years later, I met and married my husband. And I fell off the bandwagon and started back, eating all kinds of meat and stuff. And the weight started, the weight started coming back on. And let me back up just even before that. I always have struggled with my weight, but I found out when I became a real adult, I always thought I was fat, but I wasn't. I always had butt and hips and a small waistline.
Hey,
And
and
I wasn't
that's not a bad problem to have.
happy. I wish I had that problem now. I mess around and it's still there, but smaller. But anyway, so in my mind, I was quote unquote fat because back in the day, thin was in or whatever. So I've always had a complex about having butt and hips, if you will. So I always had this thing about I need to lose weight, I need to lose weight. Okay, so come back. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, so I met my husband, married him, and I started eating all kinds of stuff. I fell off the bandwagon and I started gaining weight. At the time that I started gaining weight, I was at the time around a size 12. But before that, when I first moved to Pittsburgh, I'm originally from Florida, moved to Pittsburgh in 1996. When I moved to Pittsburgh, I was almost at a size 20. And I went on a fruit and vegetable fast. and lost that weight and eventually wound up at a size 8. And I'm sorry if I'm
No, you're
trying to,
fine. And this is back in
okay.
1996 when you
This
did
was in 96. So I did the fruit and vegetable fast just before I met my roommate, my ex-roommate, and I got down to a size 8 from almost a size 20. I maintained the size 8, yes, until then I met my friend, and by the time I met my roommate, I had crept up to like a size 12. And then that's when I started the fruit and vegetable again with the chicken only, and then met my husband, and then that's when my weight started creeping again. So now so from there, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So I started jogging. I was the person that I never liked to run. I remember, yeah, when I was in middle school, and the first thing we had to do when we got to PE was to run around the track. I could never make it around the track. Problem. So anyway, so my cousin, who's an ex NFL player, he was like, we were talking about running one day, and I was like, I'm too heavy to run. He's like, cuz it ain't got nothing to do with that. He was like, even if you just run from the here to the stop sign, just start. I said, okay. Long story short, I started doing that, and before I knew it, I was running. Well, I hadn't changed my diet, but because of the running, I started losing weight. I was
Right.
like, yes, this is good. So I started losing weight again. I came back. I was back down to like a size 8 within maybe like a couple of years or so. Everything was going well. And I did something to my back. So I stopped running. When I stopped running, I started picking up the weight again. Now, mind you, I was still doing fruit, vegetables, and at this time, no poultry. I was doing, I guess you could call it at that time, yes, I was. Take that back. Yes, I was. I was doing fruit. I was eating everything. I take that back. I was eating everything. I have to keep my timeline here.
You're
So
fine. You're
yeah,
fine.
I was actually eating everything then, but I was running. And for some reason, because I was running, I guess my metabolism was staying active. And I would come home from running and I would just eat everything in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would be famished, but I was running every day. I was running like 5 times a week, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 miles
And were
a
you
day.
doing long stop? Oh wow, a day.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. You were
yeah,
doing some long distance. And you were
yeah.
going outside?
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. Running. Yeah. I had a buddy, I had a running buddy, and we used to get up every morning at 5 o'clock and run. So I was doing good. People were like, girl, you looking good. You losing weight. And for real, I was not really, I've never really did scales. I just always judge my weight by my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So I I felt like when I would get on a scale, my weight wasn't really down, but I guess I was
The
losing.
body fat was you were
Exactly.
losing inches and building muscle probably, and so it's the numbers not changing,
Exactly.
but your appearance and your stamina is.
I'm telling you, I was looking good. I was tight. Everything was like,
Oh,
toned. Yeah, girl, I was looking good. Lo and behold, fast forward, I ran 5K, 10K, was about to run a half marathon when I hurt my back and I couldn't train. So I started gaining weight. Now, by this time, I'm in like my mid 50s and I was looking good. I was like at a good 8. Everything was good. But then that happened. I stopped running. And then I started eating. Like my husband would come home, he would call me because he got off from work late. He's like, you want some chicken wings? I'm like, yeah, yeah. So I'd be sitting in the bed, Kamaria, at 1 o'clock in the morning, girl, eating some chicken wings and then turn over and go to sleep and was
oh,
expecting to lose weight. Like,
oh my goodness. That's them showing how they showing that love and they're thinking about you, but you like you hurting me.
so of course that lasted for a while and I wasn't exercising. So the weight, I was just blowing up. And I was like, oh my goodness. So by this time, I'm up to a size 16. I'm like, no way, Jose. So I
Right.
said,
So at
okay.
this time, your back's hurt, so you're not running. You're back eating things that you weren't eating before, and now
Right.
we've gone from being around the size 8 to the 16.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was not happy at all. Besides that, the relationship was suffering. So I had all kind of stuff going on in my head space. It was, and I was, girl, let me tell you, I was like, when I saw myself, I'm like, no, baby, I got, and like, you got to get this weight off. I tried everything. I started back exercising. I still wasn't running. So I tried to exercise, pills, slim fast, teas, fasting.
You
And
name it. I've done it all too. I done had the flat tummy tea, wearing the waist trainers till you can't wear them no more. Trying to do the intermittent fasting. So I've done it all. Keto. I've done it all. So I can relate 100%. No shame or shade. I can relate.
exactly. Okay, so you feel me. And nothing was happening. And what was really discouraging was when I would do a fast, I wouldn't lose a pound. Back in the day, so here comes into play about the older you get, the harder it is. Your metabolism really slows down. And when you're young, you're in like, yeah, whatever. And but I found out that was to be true because back in the day, I am spiritual, and at my church, we would do at the particular church I was going to at the time, we used to do a 3-day water fast every week. So, and that's when, and I would always drop 10 pounds, period. I know it was water weight, but it was
Right.
10.
Right,
Okay. It
right,
was 10.
exactly.
Baby, I was fasting. I did it all. I was starving myself. I was not losing any weight at all. I'm like, okay, fast forward. I from Florida, so I'm in Pittsburgh. So in 2017, the end of 2017, I moved back to Florida and I have this excess weight on me. Moved back to Florida. So I start back running now. My back is good, so I start back running. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this weight off me now because
Yes, yes.
I'm good now. Running 4 to 5 miles a day, 5 days a week. Now I'm a pescatarian. Okay.
You're just doing you're just doing fish. When it comes to meat, it was only fish and your fruits and veggies.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Not weight still not going anywhere. I'm like, so my church during Lenten season goes on a 40-day fruit and vegetable fast. And I'm like, okay, well, the only thing I can cut out is fish because I'm already only doing fruit and vegetables, but maybe it's the fish, so I'm good then. Mind you, I go on this 40-day fast, cut out fish, running 4 to 5 miles a day, 5 days a week. After the 40-day fast, your girl had not lost an inch.
Huh.
Mind you, the fast was supposed to be for spiritual reason, but can I tell you? And the Lord already knows. I'm like, God, I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about what I'm talking about. I need to lose some weight. In the the weight loss is supposed to be a byproduct of the fast, but it was vice versa for me. Like, if you do some things, Jesus, in my spirit, that's good, but your girl need to lose some weight.
You are funny. I get it though, and I love that you're being honest. Because let's just be real. We can say always, I don't care about the weight. It's just for spiritual reason, which is the case for some people. I will say that, and I've done fasts like that too. I do spiritual fasts regularly when I'm trying to make a decision, and it has nothing to do with my weight. I just want to clear mine.
Right.
But sometimes, y'all, them 30, 40-day fasts, you be like, okay, I hope, I do want to lose a little bit of weight though.
Yeah, I need this waist to get a little bit snatched. And I'm serious. God is my witness. And like you, I fast. I still fast to this day for spiritual reasons. And I'm focused, like you said, because I need clarity or whatever. And I'm focused. But baby, let me tell you, that one right there was not about the spirit. And maybe God punished me. Maybe he was like, since you ain't fasting for the right reason, I'm gonna make sure you don't lose an inch, because I didn't.
Okay.
When I tell you I was fit to be tired.
And how did that make you feel?
When I didn't lose
you did the full 40 pounds, the full 40 days and didn't lose a single pound, or didn't see any progress, the kind of progress you were hoping to see.
I was so discouraged. I just couldn't understand. I was befuddled. I was confounded. Like, what is going on? I should have lost at least 5 pounds. if if I was shooting for like 20,
Right.
but at least 5. So, and I was very discouraged. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I felt. And I was very, very discouraged. So by now I'm just like, I'm starting to, when I go to the store, and I was shopping at a lot of consignment shops because I'm like, I ain't paying a lot of money for clothes because I'm not planning on being this size, right then. Then I was like around a 14.
Okay.
So some some kind of way, I guess before I left Pittsburgh, I guess I had lost a couple of pounds or something, but I was still like 14, 16ish.
Right. Right.
Yeah, 14, 16. Even though when I looked in the mirror, sometimes certain stuff I bought, I'm like, oh girl, and I think I was psyching myself out, but when I see the difference now, so yeah, so I'm still like a 14, 16ish, but I'm more of a 14, a high 14,
Right. Right.
14, 15 and a half or something. But
Hmm.
anyway, so I transition again. I relocate again, this time because I was living in Panama City, Florida. Hurricane Michael came, ran me out of Panama City. So I moved to Central Florida. Now, fast forward to, that was in 2018, October of 2018. Fast forward to January of 2019. I'm at another church now. So it's January 2019. They're doing a Daniel fast. And if anybody doesn't know what a Daniel fast is, it's a fast where you only eat fruit and vegetables, and it's usually 21 days. I'm like, here we go again. And I was doing it for spiritual reasons, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, I need to lose some weight. So I'm like, well, here we go again. I already only eat fruit and vegetables and fish. I'm fish, but here we go, Kamaria. I don't know. I had some type of revelation. I said to myself, why don't you also eliminate all dairy products now? I don't know what, I hadn't been studying, I hadn't been doing any research. It
Mm.
just, I would have to say it was God. Let me just give the credit where the credit is due.
Right. Right.
Eliminate all dairy products. Trust you now, mind you, when you talk about dairy products, cheese was the first thing that came to my mind. Your girl loved herself some cheese. Okay. You hear me?
Yes.
I love me some cheese. And
I struggle with that too. When
yes,
yes, I also, before I decided to cut out the dairy because it was, one, it just doesn't sit well with mostly anybody that for the most part, and then it triggers my eczema. I decided to let go of dairy as well, and it was very hard. I love me some cheese. I don't never really been into milk, but baked goods have dairy in them, and I used to love my baked goods. I love to bake, and so to let that go, I still bake, but I don't eat it. It was hard, so I definitely can relate.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was going to be, this was about to be a big deal now. And let me just insert here that I've never had any health issues. I've never had any food allergies, anything like you were saying how cheese would
Doesn't sit well
like
with me.
mess with your egg. Yeah, so I never had any health issues. The only health issue that I had was being overweight, which is a health issue,
Which
but
I
it's
was about to say, don't lose your
Mhm.
thought. I have to say something really quickly. It's
Sure.
so interesting because as a society, if a doctor doesn't tell us that there's something wrong, if they don't give us a label or a diagnosis, we can easily think that we're fine. I don't have any health issues. I'm fine. But we don't think about, and I like to I like to really kind of err on the side of caution when I talk about this subject, because I want to be very clear that I am not saying people who are a certain weight are automatically unhealthy. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that a lot of the time, the way that we look and feel is indicative of the way that we are fueling and the things that we're consuming. It's indicative of how our lifestyle is. So if you're not moving, your joints are going to feel a little different. You don't need a diagnosis to know that you are struggling to go up the stairs. You don't need a diagnosis to know that, the jeans that you've always been able to fit are way too tight now. You've jumped up 5 sizes. You don't need a diagnosis for that. And so I love that you say, technically, I was fine. I didn't have any health issues, but it's like we don't think we have health issues because a doctor didn't say so.
Exactly.
And it's like we gotta remember that the way we feel our absolute best is to fuel our body with what it needs, and what it needs is already right here. It's not in a package, it's not on a shelf. And I'm gonna stop right here because I can go on a tangent. I can feel myself getting carried away. But I love that you make that comment, because I really wanted to highlight, y'all, you don't need to have a title or a diagnosis from a doctor to say, oh, I need to try to do a little bit better, eat a little bit more fresh fruit and vegetables and things like that. You don't need a diagnosis for that. Listen to your body. It's telling you what it needs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great point. You know, because like you said, if your knees hurting and you can't get up the steps like you need to get up the steps, if you're breathing, you know, yeah, I didn't have so-called diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol, anything like that, but I was overweight.
Right.
You know, I was overweight, and my energy level, girl, I could sleep. People be talking about, I can't take no nap because I won't be able to sleep at night. I'll be like, honey, I can take a nap and then turn over and go to sleep and sleep all night long.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. I mean, what? Why you sleep? Why you got to sleep that much? You know what I'm saying?
Because
So
your body is it needs time to digest all the food and all of
yeah,
the processed food, and so it's exhausted.
right, exactly. You know, so yeah. So I get here, I get to Central Florida in 2019, get to this new church, but I also have a doctor when I was in Panama City, which was a short stint. I was only there for 10 months, so I didn't have time to get my doctor and stuff together. So now I'm moving to a new city, I'm settling again, and I get a new doctor. When I went to the doctor, I weighed in at almost 200. I was like at 198 at the time, and I'm 5'5", so I
Right,
was
right.
I was pretty thick girl. And so, you know, she did blood work and all that, and she started following me because you know, she did the blood work. So then I had to come back for results, and she was checking stuff. So I was going back to her like every two to 3 weeks for like a couple of months. Okay, let me back up. So I decide to eliminate dairy from my diet. No cheese. I love cheese. Milk, you know, give or take. Eggs, that went along with the cheese because I loved a good omelet. I didn't like eggs just by themselves, but
Right.
give me a good Southwestern omelet with all the veggies with some salsa and sour cream on it, some pepper and salt, girl. I'm in omelet heaven, right? So I'm like, oh my, I'm gonna have to get rid of my cheese. Okay, so you know, we know what dairy is. Eliminated the dairy. By this time, I'm not running, but I'm walking like 2 to 2.5 miles a day. Within a few days, I would say within a week's time of being on a 21-day fast, eliminating the dairy, I started losing weight.
Wow. What you was hoping to do in 40 days, you started seeing results in 7 this next time around.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Every time I would go to my doctor, I would have shedded pounds. I'm like, it has to be the fish and the dairy. I
Right.
didn't know which one it was
Right.
because
You tried them both at different times.
exactly. So
Okay.
what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I'm assuming this is about to kick off this new vegan journey because we're in
Yeah,
2019. Okay, okay.
yes, you on it. When the 21 days, because I wasn't journaling, because I'm not a journaler, I don't keep up with stuff. I have tried, but I'm just not good at that. I just commit stuff to my
Me
memory.
too. And here go one right here. I got a journal that's over here. It's real cute, and I keep forgetting to write in it. I got a bunch of cute journals I forget to write in. So you again, we one in the same.
I just, you know, and people are always giving me journals. So I got like 5 journals with hardly nothing in them. Like,
Same.
I'm gonna try this one more time. It just doesn't work. So if I don't remember it, then it just didn't happen. So by the time the 21 days were over, I don't know how much weight I had lost, but I had lost a significant amount of weight. I'm
Okay.
like, yeah. Every time I would get in the car when I would come from my doctor's office and I would text my friend, I was like, whatever. my doctor was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I've eliminated animal products from my diet." She was like, "Oh my God, honey, needless to say, when that 21-day fast was over, now by this time, like I said, I was a pescatarian, and my favorite fish was salmon and tuna steaks. I love myself some salmon and tuna steak. Before the fast, for the first time, I had made shrimp and grits. You couldn't tell me, and cheese grits. You couldn't
Uh-huh.
tell me nothing, right?
Uh-huh.
Stuff was so good. But you know what? I'm like, I'm over it. Game on. I am over it. I never looked back.
Wow. Wow. Mm.
I
And,
never looked back.
and you know what it took? It took you doing it the first time years ago, as discouraging as it was. But see, it's hard in the midst of the storm to understand why is it not going our way. And it's so funny because my fiance and I were talking about this last night. Is that a lot of times God is trying to get you ready. He's trying to make sure you're ready for the next phase. So
Yeah.
in the midst of getting you ready, a lot of times things don't make sense. And it's like, come on now, God, like I'm putting the work in, why didn't that work out? He's like, wait a second, you're not all the way there yet. And it has nothing to do with a lot of times about the goal that you're trying to reach, but about the person that he's trying to create you to become, and he's trying to grow you into and evolve you into for life at the next stage. And so I feel like with you, Cynthia, you were at the next stage. So in 2019, for the 21-day Daniel fast, he was like, yeah, she ready. She ready. I'm about to make sure she gets exactly what it is that she has been striving to get. And not only am I going to make sure that she gets it in the 21 days, she's about to take off with this. And that's what you did. Oh my goodness. Congratulations for the commitment and the willingness and bravery to try again, because it does take bravery to try something that you failed before, or that you think you failed. We call it a failure.
Yeah.
To do it again and to say, I'm doing this again for whatever the reason, but I'm doing it again. Congratulations. So now
Thank you.
we did our 21 days
Yeah.
that I'm not turning back. So
Nope.
then now tell me about first year vegan. We're in 2019. It's your first year fully vegan. How was that? I want to know, when it comes to recipes, did you have a hard time with that transition? Were your families around you, the people that are around you that you live with, did they go vegan, or were you the only one? Tell me about that first year and what that looked like, especially because I get so many viewers who are thinking about doing it, and I know these are some of the questions that they may have.
Sure, absolutely. I happen to live with my cousin, so it's just me and her.
Perfect.
She's
Okay.
older. Yeah, so I don't have I don't really have a big time social life. And then excuse me, and any other family isn't here. So it's
Okay.
just my church family, but then as far as family, it's just my cousin and I.
Perfect. Okay.
I don't even think I don't even think I made an announcement to her. I can't remember. I think I just stopped. She just noticed that I wasn't eating certain stuff, and I don't even remember how it became official with her. Like, did I say I'm not going to eat? I don't know. I can't even remember what happened with that. But at any rate, she didn't say anything. She just let me do what I was doing. Um, I had no idea what I was doing. So I started out eating a lot of processed vegan food, but whatever it took, and I didn't realize it because at the time I wasn't doing a lot of research. So I didn't realize that the Guardian, um,
The Gardein, Morningstar, Beyond.
yeah, all that, yeah, I didn't realize, and Gardein was my brand. I tried the Morningstar, I didn't like it, but I didn't realize that the nuggets, and all of that, it served its purpose, but and I'll get to that later. I eventually, eliminated all of that. But I was doing whatever I needed to do. I ate a lot of rice. I ate a lot of tofu. I ate a lot of vegetables. I did a lot of stir fry tofu and
And
stir fry,
it's
honey.
easy and it's good. It
It's
tastes
easy
good.
and it's good. Exactly. And that was basically my diet, I would eat some fruit. I'm so boring, and I'll tell you about that later. I would eat some fruit, but it was basically sweets wasn't an issue with me because sweets has never been an issue with me. So it was about the food because I like food, I like
Right,
the
right.
food. So I was eating, it's been so long now, I can't remember. I was eating a lot of tofu and stir fry and rice. I think that was
That was
basically
like your go-to.
that was my go-to, and as far as the support, my cousin, she was cool, and I would make dishes. Oh, I remember I started making chickpea patties from chickpea. I would make
Ooh.
chickpea patties,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, one day I was cooking, she's like, "Ooh," she's like, "Let me
Uh-huh.
try it." Okay. And when I got done, she tried it because it was supposed to be this was supposed to be a vegan crab cake. That's what this was. I'm sorry, it was a vegan crab
But you
cake.
made it out of chickpeas.
Yeah, and
Ah.
soap hearts and hearts of palm and some other stuff. And she tasted, she was like, "Ooh, that's good." Oh, and another thing, I got turned on to Just Egg. Have you know about Just Egg?
So I do. I gotta be real honest with you. The idea of it is what has kept me from even trying it.
Uh-huh.
Um, I did. I'll make this real quick. I did cut out eggs because I used to be a big avocado toast with egg on top type of girl. So before I got introduced to raw foods and trying to eat more high raw, I used to eat that every morning. I said, look, if I'm gonna stop eating eggs, that's gonna be it. Ain't no egg alternative. I'm not going to be purchasing this egg, this liquid egg. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But I'm curious to know, did you try it and what did you think of it?
I tried it and I absolutely loved it because one of the reasons why it
Okay.
ended up being good, someone gave me a tip. By this time, I'm on stuff and researching. Someone gave me a tip about using black salt to give to add because the black salt gives it an egg flavor because the black salt is actually a what's the word that I'm trying to use? It's from the earth. It's a can't think of it.
It'll
I'll
come
think
to
of,
you. Mhm.
yeah, but the black salt, which is not black, I found that out when I went to purchase it. It actually smells like egg because when my cousin was like, "What does that smell?" I said, "It's black. It has this real. It smells eggish,
Really?
but it's very, very strong." Oh, the word won't come to me, and
That
it's
is
real
so
simple.
interesting. So it's a specific this specific type of salt is what gives it that flavor.
Yeah, this is black salt. I keep it in my room. I don't even
Black
use it
salt.
anymore.
Okay. Wow.
I'm
And
gonna
that's
tell
what
you
you put
about
on
that.
the eggs.
Yeah, and it gives it an egg taste. It tastes like egg. So and you can only use a pinch because it's very, very, very salty. But it's the good salt. Dr. Irie Latham, he does endorse black salt.
Yeah, I'm about to say, and I trust anything that man says. So
Me too, girl. Yes, yes. So yeah. So I made my omelet. I made and it was good. I sauteed my peppers and my mushrooms and my onions and my spinach. I love spinach. I had at the time I was using the vegan cheese and the vegan sour cream and honey, I was ready to slap somebody when I tasted that omelet. I'm like, "Ooh." It was very good to answer your question. And my cousin, she was like, look, and she's like, can I taste just a little corner of that? I said, yeah. She said, so yeah, and I was posting my pics when I would make my dishes because I always dish them up so nicely. I would post them on my social media, and people would be like, I'd be like, all plant based. Like when Thanksgiving came around, I would make my greens just with no meat in them. I would just use like liquid smoke and liquid smoked paprika and
right,
just my seasonings and all of that. I made dressing. I made macaroni and cheese. I made potato salad, because I know about all this stuff, vegan
right.
mango and all of this stuff. And I posted my first pic that I did for Thanksgiving. I posted it and I was like, all plant based. And folks was like, what?
I know they were. Wow. Wow.
So it was cool. I was basically, except if it was, unless it was a holiday, I was basically trying to remember now because it seems like it's been forever. I was eating, like I said, my tofu. I started thinking of different ways and researching different ways to do tofu. I found out that you could fry it, so I found a way to fry it, and it was so good. My chickpea patties. Sometimes I'm telling you the truth. When like a day old, I would crumble them up and put them over a salad. You would have thought I was eating some chicken over that salad.
Really?
So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
you
was
were you were
trying to all
definitely
kinds
getting
of stuff.
creative, and I love that.
Mhm.
During that first year, you were, yes, it might have been some of the processed foods, but as you started to, then do some research, learn from other people in the communities on social media, then you start experimenting, making some different things, and that's what it's about, y'all. It's not about being perfect when you decide to make these changes. You're
Right.
making a drastic change. You are breaking an addiction, whether you like that word or not. You're breaking an addiction to what you're, the meats, the cheese, the milk. And so give yourself grace. If that means starting out with, here and there having the Gardein patties to say no to the meat, start that way. I see nothing wrong with that. And to be honest, I think that it's setting you up for more success for the most part than to just go cold turkey. Most people don't thrive off of that. So I love hearing that you were creative, you were having fun with it, your cousin was excited to try it. Okay. So that's year one.
Yeah.
And then you kept that. So you were vegan, cook vegan from 2019 up until this year, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So before we get into this year, did you notice any other differences? Because from the Daniel fast, you lost a lot of weight, you were shedding some pounds, you were walking. So 2019 to 2020, into 2021, before you decided to transition, which we'll get into, did you notice any other physical or mental changes with simply just going plant-based? We're not talking raw, we're not talking non-processed. Did you notice any changes during that time period with, just you going plant-based? No more dairy, no more fish. After the
I
21
didn't
day fast.
honestly. I'm sorry. What
I
did you
said
say?
after your 21-day fast, what did you notice just long term? Because that's short. 21 days is short term. What did you notice over those full 2 years though?
I know one thing that I noticed is because, like I told you, as far as uh, high cholesterol or diabetes or anything, I never had anything like that. But I did have a deficiency in iron, so I was taking, my doctor had put me on iron, so my energy level was still not good. And we getting there. My energy level was still not good if I didn't take the iron. As long as I took the iron, I was fine. I'm like, I don't want to take this. I don't like taking stuff. So I would try not to take it, but then I would feel like, ugh. So I would start back taking it again. My self-confidence, one of the things that I noticed was my self-confidence was through the roof because I just, my well-being mentally, I just felt so much better about myself because I knew that I had taken control of something that I needed to take control of. Now at the time my weight had plateaued. I still wanted to lose more weight. I'm like, okay. I was literally walking, like, because I stopped running because I tripped and fell, and then
Right.
I didn't want to run no more. So I was walking like 6 miles a day, but nothing was happening. And I'll get to that later. But my well-being, I just felt great because I felt like I was accomplishing something that I wanted to accomplish. I wasn't going back. There was no turning back, no animal products for this girl. So I was, as far as emotionally and mentally, I was well. I felt great about myself. And again, my confidence, because I had shed some pounds at that time, about 20 pounds at that time. So I was feeling good, I felt like I was looking good. So those were the things that I noticed that were really, prominent. I just felt my overall well-being was a lot better than it was before transitioning to plant-based.
And I love that because it brings up a good point. You felt good even though you weren't losing the weight, because our mindset is so much more powerful than we give it credit for. To know that you are attempting to do your very best for yourself, that feels your brain, that positivity, that dopamine feeling that we like when we feel that feel good, the feel good, what is it? That dopamine comes from food, it can come from events, it can come from sex, it can come from different things. But when you excite yourself by doing what's best for you. And it's something that you've been trying to do for a very long time, with taking control, cutting out foods, trying to fuel your body properly. No, y'all, it's not perfect, but it was a step in the right direction. And so her well-being was better, which is why your confidence was so much higher, right?
Yes.
Oh, I
Exactly.
love that. I love that. It's not always
Exactly.
about the number. It's not. Okay, now keep going. Keep going.
Exactly.
I love your story.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to tell you this. You made me think about something. I don't know what you said, but you triggered something. I had met this new friend, right? And I told her that I was plant-based. And she was one of these type of people like, well, if I'm gonna be your friend, I'm gonna be plant-based too. So again, I'm not a very social person. I'm an introverted extrovert. When I'm out, I'm extroverted. When I'm in, don't come because I didn't call you. So that's how I am. Okay, that's how I am.
I love that, because I was about to say you do not give me introvert, but now that you break it down, I can see that. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So we went to the same church, so that's why we were kind of like in each other's presence a lot. So she was like, well, she plant-based, I'm gonna be plant-based too. So she liked eating out. I've never been the one to eat out a lot. And of course, because I was plant-based, is another reason why I didn't eat out a lot, because I preferred to prepare my own meals. I did Chipotle because I could handle their bowls, so I could get what I wanted to get. But that was basically, if I ate out, it would be Chipotle. But anyway, we would go out and she was like, so what are we gonna have? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have a salad and whatever. She's like, well, that's what I'm gonna have too. So anyway, she told me one day, and it blew me away, Kamaria. She's like, huh, I'm gonna have you eating meat again before you know it. I'm like, ooh. I was like, ooh. I said, okay. So she wasn't really down with the program. She was trying to, I guess, impress me and lying to herself. But when she
Right.
said that day, I'm thinking, oh, so you ain't really for
Not
me.
really
And
trying to. No, no.
and she took me to this vegan restaurant one day, and she said, yeah, their food, it tastes just like, their whatever tastes just like whatever. And that was a thing with me, as far as it wasn't about, well, that Guardian burger tasted just like a hamburger. I didn't need it to taste like a hamburger.
It's
I'm
not.
cool.
It's not a hamburger.
It's just substituting something. And I remember, let me digress. I remember eating a Guardian burger. It was very juicy and the juice was running. By this time, I was like a year into being plant-based. I almost threw up. I did. And that was the last. I'm like, no, no more. But anyway, it's like she was trying to sabotage me. But this is what I wanted to tell you. So she left our church, so I guess that ended our friendship too. But anyway, I saw her on Facebook one day. Baby, they were at a restaurant, girl. She had a spread, child. She had ribs and honey. I was like, but I said all that to say I went to gatherings because, like I said, people would invite me, and I'm like, okay, this Christmas, I'm gonna go. And I maintained. I'm like, well, I didn't tell them before I went, but when I got there, they were like, I said, well, I eat plant-based. It's like, what? You ain't gonna eat no turkey. I'm like, no. And I said, you got some string beans, or and they're like, yeah, but they got meat in them. I'm like, oh no, that's okay. So I would just go just to be going, because most
Right.
of us, how we cook in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
But I never felt pressured. I was cool. I was in it. I was in it. And so I never felt pressured. But my cousin, I noticed she started buying vegan mayonnaise, and she started buying.
Okay, then.
We never had a conversation. We never had a conversation. So anyway, but I don't know how I got off on that tangent. But anyway,
You
yeah.
said
So
you said it was something that I said that triggered that memory for you, but that was funny. So I'm glad you shared the story about the friend uh,
yeah,
and not feeling the pressure to divert back. And if y'all ever have friends that are trying to deter you from doing better for yourself, that's not really your friend anyway. So okay, so you said that your well-being was phenomenal. You kind of were at a plateau with the weight. And so what made you say, I'm about to take it another step further? After 2 years of being plant-based, eating the cooked foods, experimenting with the recipes, what made you take the next step? Where was that inspiration? Where did that come from? What triggered that?
In June of this year, one day I was just sitting at my computer and I said, I'm gonna do a 14-day raw vegan challenge. I hadn't seen anything about it. This is kind of, I've always been the type of person that I like to challenge myself in certain
Me
areas.
too.
Yeah,
I always, my friends make fun of me because I'd be like, I know I'm on to the next challenge. I'm always coming up with something. I'm like, oh, for 30 days, I'm gonna do this.
I feel you. Yeah, so just out of the clear blue one day, I said, I'm just gonna challenge myself to eat raw for 14 days. It is 174 days later.
Wow.
Is one. I
Wow.
just did it. I said I'm just gonna do it. But this is the clincher, y'all. I have literally been eating the same thing for 174 days.
Okay, you gotta tell us what it is. You gotta tell us. So, okay, so when you got to, let's go back though, because I love to be able to visualize the story. So day 14, you knew it was day 14. Did you tell yourself I'm gonna try to do another 14, or you said I'm gonna just see how much longer I want to do this, or I'm just gonna do one more day? Kind of what did you feel on day 14 to get us here at 170 plus days?
Well, on day 14, I'm like, well, just do 21 days. Because
Ah,
that's plus seven,
7
right?
more
It's
days.
20.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, well, you should just push it to 21. You feel good. Everything is cool. Just push it to 21. I'm like, okay. So that's what I did. But check this out. On day, wait a minute, let me get this right. Before day 14, I went to Pittsburgh. My husband is actually in Pittsburgh. We're separated.
Okay.
I went to Pittsburgh to visit him for 10 days. He knew what my journey, he knew what I was doing because we talk every day. And so I went to Pittsburgh. I was still on the 14-day, if I'm not mistaken, I was still on the 14-day raw vegan challenge when I went to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
I stayed on my challenge while I was in Pittsburgh. Girl, he was cooking chicken.
Wow.
He was cooking, he was cooking. That food was smelling so good. But, I don't eat chicken or anything like that anyway. But just cooked food just smells good. Let's just face it, it smells good.
He does.
But he was so supportive because he was watching like he was watching my food. He's like, looks like you running out of tomatoes. He's like, I'm gonna bring you some tomatoes when I come home from work. There, I'm like, okay. So he was very supportive. So I went through my whole 10 days with him being raw. At no, on day 8, I started getting a feeling that I wanted something cooked. Let me back up. At day 8, I was like, I just want to see what it'll be like for me to have something cooked. So I started Googling vegan restaurants in Pittsburgh, and I found this one that did like I actually had a sub, and it was like roasted or sauteed
Mhm.
vegetables or whatever. And I thought I was gonna get sick. I was like, well, you've been eating raw, but I didn't. I ate it. It was fine. But you know what? I didn't want anything else after that. So I went right back to being raw. So here I am. And so 21 days came. So then when 21 days came, Kamari, I was like, well, let me push it to 28 because I felt fine.
Exactly.
One day I was in the kitchen doing something, and my cousin came in, and I said something about, she's like, do you want so and so? I was like, no, I'm raw. I just kind of said it. She's like, raw. And she just went on about her business.
Yeah, normally I'm gonna say that's a common reaction. They'd be like, "Bro, what you mean, right? You don't cook nothing."
Yeah. So she knows that I haven't been at the stove for 174 days. And so what she does is she just says, like, whenever she's gonna go to something and you're buying a ticket and they're having dinner, she's like, well, just so I have tickets to so and you can't eat anything. Like, she does performances. We live in a community. We live in a 55 and older community, and she's in a performance club. And in October, they had a performance, and they had the meal, and she was like, well, you can just save your box for me because I know you ain't gonna eat it. So
Mhm.
she hasn't said anything about anything. But yeah, because now and the weight is down for
Oh
sure.
my gosh. Okay, so let's get into it. So how did you feel the first 14 to 21 days being raw versus your 2 years being just plant-based? What was those big differences?
Oh my goodness. The first thing that I noticed was my mental clarity. I mean, stuff was so clear. Ideas were popping in my head about things because I'm an entrepreneur, and there were things, ideas would, like, I would wake up in the morning and I had this idea just
Right.
popping. I'm like, what? And just like sit at my computer, and as I'm sitting here doing things, thoughts are just popping in my head. That was the first and foremost thing that I noticed. The second thing is, if I thought my confidence was through the roof becoming plant-based and losing a couple of pounds, baby, my confidence, I don't have a lot of before and after pictures because I didn't want to take no pictures at the
Right.
size that I was.
Right.
Now, girl, I stay in front of the camera. My husband thought, you, I don't know when you're a lot younger than I am, but we just had this thing about saying, put your hand on your hip and let your backbone slip.
I'm familiar.
Shake to the E, shake it to the way. Baby, I keep, but you keep your hands on your hips. Yes, I do. Because I know I look good.
You look amazing. I second that. You look beautiful. I love it. I love it. And I love that you start with the mental clarity. Of course, we'll get into the weight loss, but I even said that on my 30-day documentary. That mental clarity is very different than anything you will ever experience otherwise. And if that doesn't tell you all you need to know, if food is keeping you from coming up with creative ideas, making a decision, imagine, you can only imagine what it's doing to your organs, your cells.
Say it. Girl, you preaching a whole word right there.
It keeps you from thinking clearly.
Yeah.
What do you think it's doing to your body?
Exactly. And my temperament. I used to, I would go from 1 to 10 in about 2 seconds on a customer service representative, to be exact, because I'm a stickler for great customer service. If I give you my problem, I expect you to do like I know y'all supposed to do. I need you to paraphrase it back to me so I know you heard what I said.
Right.
And don't be asking me something that I didn't even, what are you talking about? That's how I would snap. When I tell you I was a raging maniac, I ain't gonna lie. Yes, I am licensed and ordained, honey. I love the Lord with all my heart, soul, body, and mind. But baby, I had some issues in my tissues when it came down to snapping out, especially customer service representatives.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just gonna be honest. I have noticed I am so calm when things don't, if they say something dumb or if they didn't get what I said, because I'm, they're human. So you might not have gotten what I said the first time around, Cynthia. I mean, you do the same thing, duh. But honey, I would snap straight up like, did you not hear what I said? And I was so condescending and so nasty with it. I kid you not. I attribute all of this lack of snapping out and my even temperament to being raw. It's just something, I haven't done all the research on food and how it affects you emotionally and all that.
Right.
But I know there's been a change. A wonderful change has come over me. Yes. Baby, I'm just honest.
So do you have the desire, at any point in this 170 plus days to eat cooked food, other than the time you said, when you were there with your ex-husband, but since you've, been back, you're pretty in a groove. Have you had a desire to have anything cooked? I know you said you're pretty boring, so I'm curious to know what your go-to raw meal is. And do you ever have that thought of like, I want some cooked today? Like, do you have that? And when you go back?
I honestly don't see myself going back. Listen to this. My cousin ain't raw, and she cooks every day, 3 times a day, because she does breakfast, dinner, and supper.
Not missing a beat.
She ain't missing a beat. But you know what? The food smells good. I admit, because at first I used to like be trying to tell myself, that food don't smell good. I was like trying to, I don't know, trying to psych
Psych
myself
yourself
out.
out. I've done that too. I used to do that too. And I think that's common when you're trying to get to that point where you don't want it. You try to convince yourself that don't even look good. That don't smell good. It's like, girl, yes, it do.
Exactly. So I am around cooked food 24/7 and it smells good, but I'm gonna be totally honest. And this is, y'all don't come for me in the comments because this is
we don't have that. We don't have that in my comments.
okay. This
yeah, you get blocked.
okay, good.
You get blocked.
Okay, good. I am repulsed at the idea of biting down on a piece of flesh. You know what really cured me? I was already cured, but I got double cured when I watched What the Health and a few more documentaries.
Oh my gosh, yes, those will. If those don't do it for you, I don't know what it will.
I'm over it. I'm over it. So I said all that to say, when my cousin is cooking, now she eats pretty clean. She's 76, but she eats pretty clean. She pays attention to what she eats. Now she eats fish, and she eats chicken. And I think she made some oxtails the other day. I understand they got some vegan oxtails down the street from me, but they don't fall within the raw category. But I don't have any desire. I smell like when I'm out, in restaurants, that food be smelling so good, but it doesn't smell good enough for me to say, let me go in here and get me some stir fry, or let me go to Chipotle. Because when I'm eating my little salad, and I do everything at my desk in my room. My cousin goes to her room and do what she does. I come in my room. We don't like sit at the table, but I'm sitting at my desk and I'm eating my salad, and it's just like I'm eating life. This is living food that I'm eating. I had a craving. If you want to consider this cooked food, and it is, I had a craving for some salt and vinegar kettle cooked potato chips last week. And I kept telling myself, girl, I'm like, China, you think God gonna strike you down dead if you eat some potato chips? You just want to tell the world, I have not had a sick girl, get you some potato chips.
Right.
I got those potato chips. You can't get no small bag or nothing. So the regular, whatever that is, I binged out on them 2 days. And then on the third day, what was left, I threw it in the garbage. I'm like, I don't want no more. So, but as far as craving cooked food, I haven't. I really haven't at this point. And I don't see myself going back anytime soon. I ain't gonna say never, but I don't see myself going back anytime soon. I'm really enjoying this raw vegan journey. I
love it. And what is the meal that you're eating every day?
Girl, I'm so boring, child.
I'm
so boring. I eat salads every day. I even did a raw taco, but that's a salad, because I don't do nut meats. I haven't invested in a processor. I haven't invested in a dehydrator. So you can do some stuff without those, but if you want to do like nut meat or stuff like that, you probably gonna need
do you eat raw nuts?
I do. So I eat salads and raw nuts. I'm not a fruity person. I like blueberries. I buy the frozen fruit when I want a smoothie. My first meal of the day is usually not till around 2 or 3 o'clock.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Every now and then.
And are you even hungry? You just eat, you wait till you're hungry. And that's the thing about when you go raw, your appetite really does decrease. We don't need all that food that we eat. We don't.
I eat when I'm hungry. And then if I don't, like, I'll eat a salad and I'll be like, I'll tell my husband, like, oh, I'm so full. And then he'd be like, well, stop eating. I'm like, but it's so good. And I will eat it all. And I'll be about to fall over. And then I'm fine. And that's maybe like 2, 3 o'clock. And then maybe around 7 o'clock or something, I'll eat me some nuts, or if I have a taste of something sweet, I'll make me some ice cream,
Yep. Mhm.
And but other than that, like you said, I don't really require a whole lot of food. Thus, 40 pounds later, here I am.
Woo! Okay.
Honey, my 12s are baggy. So I guess I'm like at a 10. I don't weigh yeah, my 12s are baggy. So I must be like at I think I'm like at an 18.
8. You might be an 8.
Yeah. I'm like,
So 40 pounds is what you've lost in the past 170 days?
no, this is the whole journey.
Whole thing. What have you
Yeah.
lost in the 170, or you don't do scale, so you're not sure?
I was weighing myself like at Publix because I told you I don't even own a scale.
Okay.
So I haven't weighed myself for like 3 weeks now. I haven't weighed myself for like 3 weeks, but I know I've lost more weight because, girl, it's a good problem to have, but
Everything's
none of my clothes fit. They're all baggy. I look like a sack lady.
Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations again. I just love
Thank
it.
you.
I don't see you stopping anytime soon anyway. You are excited, you're thriving, you're glowing. Like
Thank
you are doing.
you.
Now, I got to be honest. I'm pretty boring too during the week with what I eat. I normally am like either wrapping stuff in the raw nori wraps. I'll make a big bowl or a salad, and I do have these wraps by, what is it, Nuco or Coco Nuco. They're raw wraps, and I put stuff in there. Um, on the weekends, I'll get a little bit more creative. I have invested in some different products, so I'll get creative, look at some recipes, but I go for convenience and easy, and it's good. It's simple and easy. And it's funny because people, they'll hear you say that, oh, I eat the same thing every day, and they're like, oh, that's boring. But let me just be clear though, even regardless of the lifestyle and the diet, the reason we're able to go to the same grocery store every Sunday and go through these aisles without even thinking twice about what to grab is because we all kind of eat the same thing every week. Your kids eat the same thing every week for lunch and dinner, for their favorite snacks. You eat the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yes, you may switch it up a little bit, but the average Joe is not trying a new recipe every week.
Right.
When I wasn't eating like this, I was eating oatmeal and then my avocado toast every morning. Then for lunch, I would have 3 or 4 things I rotate out between. So it's not that it's that boring. It's that people can't fathom not having their favorite foods. And then they opt to words like boring, extreme. It's like, no, extreme is not being able to get up the stairs. Extreme is none of my clothes fit. Extreme is I can barely walk for more than 5 minutes without my knees hurting, my back hurting. My vision is getting worse. I'm young and things like that. Those are things that are extreme to me. So if it just means that I need to eat better, nothing about that is extreme.
Right.
And those are just words that people use to talk themselves out of being accountable.
That's right. Hey, I couldn't have said it better myself. And you're absolutely right. It's not about being extreme. And like you said, you made a very, very good point. We all always eat the same thing week in and week out. I just so happen mine is raw now, so
Joe's, I don't really even need a list because I'm grabbing the same stuff. You
exactly.
eat the same thing every day too. It's just that you don't want to make that transition. So it's not boring.
It's not at all. I enjoy. I love one of my favorite things on eating raw is eating raw nuts. I love pecans. I love Brazil nuts. I love cashews. I love walnuts. I am a nut. I am a nut, but I'm a nut. I'm a nut lover. You turned me on to something the other day. You did a little food drive through at Dollar General. You
Oh,
like,
yes.
girl, I went right to the kitchen and made that.
And it's simple, real simple, inexpensive, because I also don't like people to feel discouraged if they don't have the fancy products or if they don't have a ton of money, because some of this stuff is expensive. Juicers, processors, NutriBullets and blenders and all of that stuff is expensive. So if you're starting out, don't feel like you need to even have all that. Make do with what you got.
That's right. And you're exactly right. And one of the reasons why I do have a juicer, but let me tell you, I don't juice because I am so lazy.
I love it now. I just got a juicer and I've been juicing.
Babe, I'm so late. I think part of the reason why I haven't been pressed to get a dehydrator, or like I saw your meatballs that you made. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna do it.
Those are really good. I'm telling you, Cynthia. And I'm not. I don't like doing too much all the time because I wouldn't do that every week.
Right.
But they were so good that I was telling my fiance. I said I may prep these on like a Sunday, and have these ready to go for my salads the rest of the week. It's so good. So good. That recipe is no joke.
Yeah, I feel that, and I'm gonna get around because I have a lot of recipes that I want to try. But like I said, I am just like, the salad is so easy. And I've gotten even lazier with my salads because I used to do like two, but I only eat like one a day. Like I
Are
was
you making
doing,
your own dressing?
no, I use olive oil and rice vinegar.
Oh, ooh, okay. And so you just put that on there, and that's your.
That's my drink. I told you it, if it means if it, one of these days I will probably get into making a little bit more stuff, but right now it just works. It's like I just want something quick and in a hurry.
And you enjoy it.
I
And
do.
I'm
I
like, and that's the
do.
biggest thing. It does not matter if a year from now you like, girl, I'm still eating those same salads. You are enjoying it and you love it. And
I
that's
am.
the thing, y'all. Eat what you eat, good food. Eat what tastes good to you.
Exactly. And just do you. I see a lot of, because I binge watch channels about, and there's so many popping up now, and so, and you see, I'm like, oh, that looks good. Oh, desserts and all that kind of stuff. But what I will say is, do you. And I just gotta say this, I love your piece that you did week or so ago that you posted, might have been this week, I don't know, about don't brand me or don't title me.
I'm not
I'm not.
vegan. Mm-hmm.
I get that. I love that. I totally get that, because I think that's what happens with a lot of people. They were like, well, since I'm this, I can't do this. I can't do that. It's not that you can't do anything. It's what you can do. I grew up in church being told what I can't do. So don't nobody tell me what I can't do. We ain't doing that. So yeah, don't. And people. So you say you're this, and you go somewhere and they're looking like,
Yep. But I thought she said, and that's the thing. And I'm like, let's just stay away from that in general. You are
I
Cynthia.
love it.
Cynthia eats what Cynthia wants to eat. So if I want to eat a salad every day for a year, and in a year and 3 days, I want my potato chips again, I'm making my potato chips, or I'm going to go buy them, or whatever the case may be.
That's
And
right.
what I love about the comment you made about don't tell me what I can't have or what I can't do, but because let's think about all the things we can do. That's that abundance mindset. When you're making these type of transitions, you're gonna feel like, well, dang, what can I eat? A whole lot. I bet you it's a whole lot you've never even tried. I'm trying so many new fruits and vegetables, and I'm like, oh, this is actually good. There's a lot that you have not even exposed your palate to. And I'm not saying you're gonna love all of it, but start trying it and being open and understanding that there is an abundance out there of fruits and vegetables for you to try, and so many recipes that are even on YouTube for free for you to make some, maybe some raw plant-based, patties or burger patties. There's so many recipes. If you want it, you will make a way to take control of your health and change your lifestyle. I love that. And yeah, we Cynthia and Kamaria, we are not any other thing. We do eat days, but don't label us as anything.
That's right. That's right. And one thing, and that's very good. And there's one thing that I do want to share with you about that whole anemic thing and that whole iron thing. I was taking the iron, and I was trying not to be taking it. And I would just let my prescription run out for the heck of it. And I would be like, oh, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead on and get it. Girl, I ain't had no iron and I don't know when.
Hello. I love
I
it.
feel fantastic.
Wow.
My energy level is like crazy.
Wow. Love it. Y'all hear that?
I can't wait to go to my doctor.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to go either. And you need to tell us in the comments what was the doctor saying when you were like, I don't take those iron pills no more. And then you tell them, oh, it's because I went raw. I know they're gonna be like, wait a second. Now, Cynthia, this has been an absolutely amazing interview. When I tell you my heart is full, weekend is off to an amazing start. Y'all, we're filming this on a Saturday. Cynthia could be anywhere in the world on a Saturday, and she's here with me talking to you all, sharing her story. And it's an absolute honor. I'm so happy to have met you. I feel like I've known you forever. Your energy, it is, I love it. And I love you, and I love everything that you're about. I love your spirit. It's just been an amazing conversation with you, and I'm so grateful. Before we end this though, if there's any words of encouragement, if there's your favorite quote, anything that you can think of that you would like to tell somebody who's on the other side of the screen watching this, and maybe where you were back when you did the 40-day fast, maybe feeling discouraged, maybe kind of feel hopeless, and they really want to try to take better control of their health. They don't want to be on the pills. They don't want to, not be able to fit the size 8 pants anymore. What do you tell that person watching this, so that they can have some hope and a little bit of excitement around a new lifestyle?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to steal something from you that I heard you say. I think I was watching you. Yes, I watch you every day. But give yourself grace. And what I mean by that is, if you decide that you want to start a journey to better health, and somewhere down the line you fall off the bandwagon, don't beat yourself up. Don't think about, well, Cynthia is doing it or Kamaria is doing it. No, this is about you. This is between, how about this? This is between you and you. Give yourself grace. And I'm here to tell you, especially, and let me say this real quick, Kamaria. Thank you so much, because when I was looking at the avatar, if you will, of your guests, I didn't see a lot of women my age. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I did this, y'all. I went plant-based beyond the age of 50. I went plant-based when I was 50 something, 56 or something. I'm 63 now. So whenever that was, you do the math. 2019, I was 50, whatever, I'm 63, whatever. A lot of women my age feel like it's never going to happen. I'm beyond that. I can't do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Give yourself grace. Get it in your mind. See yourself looking like you want to look. Envision yourself feeling like you want to feel, and you go for it. You get at it. And I don't care how many times you have to start over, you keep on starting over. If at first you don't succeed, this is old news. Keep on trying until you get there. That's all I got for you.
I don't have nothing else to say. Lovelies, as usual, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Please comment below and let me know if you love this video, what your favorite takeaway was from this video, because Cynthia dropped so many gems and she's hilarious. So I know y'all probably cracking up on those comments, but we are so appreciative of your support. And if you're here to the end, I appreciate you more than you know. Until next time, and let's wrap this up. Bye.